Now, election fever has gripped Cameroon ahead of presidential elections on Sunday. An estimated 7 million people are expected to cast their ballot in a race that has attracted 9 candidates. CGTN Saddique Shaban has more from Douala.
These are now common scenes in Cameroon. Supporters of presidential candidates excited about the upcoming elections. Latest political poll put the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement ahead of the rest. The flag bearer, Paul Biya, is banking on his experience to retain the seat. But these elections are not just about personalities.
We know that we are having 2 regions that are having problems. So we are trying to see, he's making all effort to try to see how he can try to convince the people to stop being arrogant. So to sit on the table and table their problem and talk together, because no violence can help anything.
This year, the people have, the youth people have taken conscience of the importance of vote.
Cameroon is torn between retaining the status quo and embracing new challenge. The main opposition party, the Social Democratic Front, is being led by Joshua Ossi, who is trailing the president in the opinion polls. 7 other candidates are far behind. With just days to the ballot, Cameroonians supporting the ruling party still want more than just victory on Sunday.
If our President Paul Biya pass that vote, he give us a job, because a job is very important for the Cameroonian.
Okay, I want him, when he wins again, he would make he will correct the mistake that he done for past time.
President Paul Biya is scheduled to make his second campaign rally in the troubled Anglophone areas of Cameroon, hoping to bring the country under one flag. The election fever has gripped Cameroon ahead of the presidential election slated for 7th of October. 8 candidates are running to unseat the incumbent Paul Biya, who's been in power since 1982 and who is running for his 7th straight term in office of 7 years. The country's election body, the ELECAM, says it's ready for the elections, which are being held under an increasing context of difficulties facing Cameroon at the moment, including disenfranchisement, insecurity and unemployment. Saddique Shaban, CGTN, in Douala, Cameroon.
Well, let's cross over to Saddique Shaban now. He's still in Yaoundé. Saddique, let's start with the readiness of the country for these coming elections. Is Cameroon ready for Sunday?
Beatrice, that is the question that a lot of people are asking themselves in this country, particularly in the troubled areas we know of the southwest and northeast of Cameroon, where there have been a little bit of trouble for the last 1 year. But in the Anglophone regions, we have gotten assurances from government, the Ministry of Communication, sending out communication to the media today saying the country is just counting down 3 days away to the polls. All systems, the government says, are in place in terms of logistics, in terms of security and general preparedness by the electoral body in ensuring that about 7 million Cameroonians are expected to cast their ballot on Sunday. The country is awaiting this moment. The polls chief told us today, saying it's a defining moment for this country and they are ready for it.
Saddique, the Anglophone parts of the country, though, have been rather unstable in recent weeks with outbreaks of violence. So what did the Electoral Commission say about voting in those areas? We did speak to them today, and the assurance they're giving is that they have airlifted ballot materials and electoral officials to these regions because there are parts of these regions that are experiencing very heavy torrential rains at the moment, and accessing some polling station will be a problem. This will further compound the problem of unrest in these regions, where we have seen and we've had reports of hundreds of people moving from this region because the military, the Cameroonian military and security officers placed an embargo in this area for the last 3 days. So people have been trying to move to safer zones and areas where the military is providing security. But the electoral body says, even with all these challenges, they have airlifted materials, they have transported ballot papers, electoral officials,
into these regions, and they're encouraging the voters to turn up on Sunday to cast their ballot.
And there are 9 candidates, Saddique, running for the presidency this time around. Does incumbent President Paul Biya have anything to worry about?
The president of this republic, Paul Biya, is campaigning on a platform that he calls the strength of experience, saying he's been in power for a long time. He knows what is best for Cameroon, and he says he is the man to take charge of the current situation and challenges facing Cameroon. His candidates, and rather the candidates of the other parties and opposition, say no, he's been in power for too long. Cameroon is sinking further into divisive politics and language barrier in the north, and the Anglophone and the Francophone crisis, calling for the end of his reign at the moment. But the president says he's staying put. In fact, on Thursday, he's heading himself into this region, the Anglophone region, to try and pacify this area. Other candidates that we've been able to speak to, Beatrice, say they don't see any need why they should take part in these elections, saying they already know the winner will be predetermined in favor of the president. But the electoral body has been issuing a different statement, saying they are providing a level playing field for not just the president, but all other candidates. Importantly, they also spoke today about the issue of the Anglophone area in terms of voting and specific concerns for the voters in this area. And this is what the chairman, or rather the Director General of the Election Cameroon, had to say.
Our approach is that of appeasement, dialogue, and constant communication. All the stakeholders within this period have been permanently communing with us to get things on the ground. We had a series of meetings with the media, we had with the international organizations. All the stakeholders are heavily involved. Because of security reasons, we've brought some polling stations, we regroup them. In administrative jargon, we call them centers, voting centers. But it does not change the different polling stations. They regroup them. It's a grouping of the voting polling stations into an identified area called voting centers. For the displaced, we've transferred them to the new areas where they are resident. So they will not vote if they come from the northwest, for example. They will not vote. They will not cast their vote in the northwest. They will cast now in the areas where they are resident.
Well, it does seem that it's all systems go for Sunday's election there, Saddique, and it is quite a large country, Cameroon, and the African Union has deployed observers, but reports say the European Union will not be represented in the electoral observer mission. Do we know why they will not be represented?
Beatrice, we put that question to the Director General of the Cameroon elections, Elecam, and he says he will have an answer for us tomorrow, Thursday, when the electoral body meets a number of observers, including those from African Union and others from around the region who are here to observe the election. So those questions were put to him, and he said, wait, we do have an answer for you tomorrow, where they are going to meet the observers. Curiously, though, it would be interesting to find out why, again, the observers from EU are not here, considering the stakes in this election. It's the first time that the presidency of Paul Biya is confronted specifically with the issue of the Anglophone crisis, which has been simmering unabated for the last 1 year. So the election body says tomorrow they will address these concerns as they brief the observers for the last time before the vote on Sunday.
All right, Saddique, Shaban for us there in Yaoundé on Cameroon's upcoming election.